Hey everyone, James Lynch here doing a quick reaction video to the news that Paulo Costa is moving up to the light heavyweight division to fight Azamat Murzakanov, and this is going to be taking place at UFC 327 in Miami, April 11th. This is not public knowledge at the time I'm recording this, I should say, so I'm getting a little bit ahead on this fight so I can talk about it ahead of time. Of course, this is going to be the Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker card. You also got Tatiana Suarez and Lupe Godinez. Yeah, didn't expect this. So there's a number of things to sort of talk about with this fight. First and foremost, I feel kind of bad here for Azamat Murzakanov because he's pretty close to a title shot, and now he's fighting someone that's not even in his weight class. And I guess you could make the argument that, well, Costa's like a big name, it'll help his career. I guess maybe it's going to keep him busy, but Murzakanov should be fighting like one of these top names, like an Ankalaev or Yuri or someone like this, and maybe they have other plans for those fighters as it is. But he's undefeated, and he's coming off a really good win over Alexander Rakic, and now he's fighting a guy that's not even in his weight class. So I kind of, first and foremost, kind of feel bad for him. And then you look at the rankings, like I guess a lot of these guys are probably booked up is my guess if they're going with Paulo Costa, because again, it's just a totally random fight here. Like to me, these are two fighters in different parts in their career. Murzakanov, like I said, is close to a title shot. Paulo Costa seems like he's getting back on the winning track, right? He had that good win in his last fight over Kopylov, but was supposed to fight Bruno Ferreira. Now, speaking of that Ferreira fight, that was supposed to take place March 7th at UFC 326. So here's what we know now. And again, I'm speculating a little bit here. So he was supposed to fight on 326 against Bruno Ferreira. We know that fight was confirmed because the UFC went on their social media account and had the poster with Ferreira and Costa. So that fight was done. Now we find this fight's at 205. I have to wonder, does Paulo Costa have some weight issues here? Because why is he moving up, and why is like we never really got an explanation as to why he withdrew from that fight against Bruno Ferreira. And of course, Gregory Rodriguez, I believe, is fighting Ferreira now, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, he's yeah, it's not Gregory Rodriguez. I got that fight mixed up, but I believe Ferreira's got another opponent, or they're working on it or something, is my understanding. But yeah, did not see Paulo Costa going to 205. Now, if you remember, a couple years back, Paulo Costa fought Marvin Vettori at light heavyweight in 2021 because during fight week, he's like, yeah, I can't make the weight. And there was a main event, and they're like, okay, I guess we'll just fight at light heavyweight. So this has been something that has followed Costa throughout his career, although saying that, he has made middleweight his last couple fights. But you also see a lot of canceled fights here, too. He's had some health issues. Maybe it is better for him to compete in the weight class. But yeah, at 34, Paulo Costa's lost a lot of years in his career from being just so inactive overall. So yeah, kind of a random fight, but let's do our quick tail of the tape like we usually do. Paulo Costa, 15-4 record. He's 34 years old. He is 6'1" with a 72-inch reach. You got Murzakanov, who's 36. So Murzakanov's actually older. And then he's 5'10" with a 71.5-inch reach. So Costa's actually going to have a slight reach advantage here. Also going to be a little bit taller. So as far as the height and reach, Costa is about the same size, if not a little bit bigger than Murzakanov. However, Murzakanov also has been a mainstay in the weight class at 205. Like I mentioned there, Costa coming off the win over Roman Kopylov in his last fight. Looked good, right? Like a lot of people were like, okay, Costa may be back. We'll see. Because you look at who he lost to, too. I mean, he's losing to good opponents here, right? Strickland, Whitaker, the Vettori fight from years back. That's one that, again, switched the weight class. Didn't look good in that one. Beat Luke Rockhold. I believe that was Rockhold's last fight in the UFC. And then lost to Adesanya. But, I mean, I remember when he was on the come-up back in, like, 2019, it looked like this was a guy that was going to be at the top of the heap for a long time. And just hasn't worked out that way. Like I said, couple decisive losses there. Especially to Whitaker and to Strickland. Those were pretty decisive. I know it was a split, but I clearly thought Strickland won that fight, although there wasn't a ton of action in that one either. So yeah, for Costa, I guess it's a chance to take out a contender and maybe find new life at 205. If we're sort of going off the context of this fight, I guess that makes some sense. And then for Murzakanov, it's about fighting another name, because he sort of fought one in his last fight with Rakic, right? That was sort of the knock on Murzakanov. He's undefeated, but you look at some of the names he's beat here, right? Like, Tafwan, who wasn't in the UFC very long, Devin Clark, who was in the UFC for a bit, but is not with the promotion anymore. Dustin Jacoby was a good win. I'll give him that one. Alonzo Menifield's been ranked before, finished him in the second round. That was good. The Brenderson Ribeiro, I think we kind of know what he is. Not really much of a threat in the weight class. He's been losing a lot of fights there. And then Rakic, I thought was good. And I know, listen, Rakic also had some injury issues, taking some time off and all that stuff. Like, I understand that, but that was a good win, because I don't remember Rakic getting finished like that. That early, right? Even Yuri, it was 2 rounds. Jan, it was a leg injury. Don't really count that. So pretty tough guy to finish. And he goes out there and he gets this. I mean, if this was another weight class where maybe there weren't fights getting booked or whatever, or maybe guys are available, you get a big win like that, which he did back in October, you're getting a title shot, right? So like, you could have made the case for, And again, I still got to see what's going on. And I'm sure the time I'm recording this, they're going to make some other fight announcements. The rumor right now is Yuri and Ulberg, but you could have easily done Murzakanov and Yuri just for the simple fact that Murzakinov's undefeated, right? And he just finished Rakic. They fought the same opponent. He finishes Rakic in the first round. Yuri finishes him in the second. So these are the things to kind of consider here. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Now, as far as a pick in this fight, I mean, I'm curious to see what the odds are. If I had to cap this one, what I think they're going to go with, I mean, I think they'll favor Murzakanov just because he's undefeated, has looked good. Does he get up to minus 300? I could see maybe a minus 250, minus 300. What was Costa against Strickland? What were the odds on that fight? Because I know Strickland would have been favored. Yeah, he was minus 260. So I think we could see something like that or even higher, right? I think even Kopylov. Was Kopylov favored in that fight? Yeah, he was. So Costa was an underdog. So as far as how they're going to set the betting lines, I could see Murzakanov being like almost a 3-1 favorite. As far as my pick, I have to go Murzakanov. Right? Like, where is Costa going to be a threat here? People would say, well, he's got knockout power, right? He has 11 wins by knockout, but you got to go all the way back to the Uriah Hall fight in 2018, the last time he had a knockout win. And again, I mentioned it there. He's fighting some good opposition, some guys that are pretty durable overall, though Luke Rockhold's been knocked out. He wasn't able to do that. So I don't know. I don't think he can do it. He didn't knock out Kopylov, right? So these are things that you kind of have to look at. I don't think he knocks him out. He's not going to submit him. He's only got one submission win. And I don't think he's going to like win, muscle his way to a decision either. Possibly he could. But Murzakanov, like I said, he's got a bit of everything. He's great knockout power. Just overall skill sets look good. Like, he's finishing guys frequently. Like, if anyone could get a knockout win, it might be Murzakanov, right? We saw Adesanya a couple of years back knock him out. Same thing could potentially happen here with Murzakanov. But yeah, I'm picking Murzakanov here. And I think for him, I mean, if I had to guess, this is just sort of a stay busy fight for him, right? There's probably not many options because, like, you could, I mean, just looking at the rankings now, like Ankalaev, Ulberg, although if he's fighting Yuri, makes sense. Khalil Roundtree, Jan Blachowicz, what's he up to right now? Maybe he wants some time off. Actually did reach out to his team recently and trying to get an interview, trying to get an update on that. Jamal Hill, we know, is out for the rest of the year. You got Volkan Ozdemir. Does Ozdemir have a fight? Can't remember. Feel like I don't think he's booked at the moment. So he could have been an option too. Actually, these two were supposed to fight back in 2023, right? So that could have been an option. Reyes is booked, obviously. Bogdan would have been interesting as well. So, yeah, I just kind of look at this and go, like, I'm guessing this is just to keep him busy. Kind of like, remember they did, like, MVP and Jared Cannonier, right? Like, last year. Like, I think that was also just, like, kind of a random fight they put together. UFC does this every now and then. But, you add Paulo Costa to this card. If you put Murzakanov on this card on its own, he's not that big of a name, but you put him against Paulo Costa, it does make it a bit more intriguing. There are still people that like Paulo Costa from his social media following, all this different stuff. So it does add a bit to this card. And they always make the Miami cards pretty solid, right? Like, I mean, Reyes and Walker, someone's getting knocked out in that fight. That's going to be great entertainment. Tatiana Suarez is a big name. So I think it's a good fight. It's just very random, in my opinion, like the title says. And yeah, I think Murzakanov can get it done. Now, it's a 3-round fight, I'm assuming. I haven't heard otherwise. Yeah, Murzakanov decision, possibly, just because you do see Costa typically lose that way. You don't see him get finished. I think that's a fair take on this one. But another fight, I'll do a more in-depth breakdown, an early look, and give you guys my take on that. So let's start first with, was this a fight to make? On a scale of 1 to 10, how random is this fight to you? I put it right up there. Could have not called this. If you would have gave me a bunch of different options for Murzakanov, I would have had this very low to the bottom here, because you just don't see fighters move up a weight class like randomly like this. Was there a weight cut issue with him not fighting Bruno Ferreira? I wonder that now. There's going to be speculation. I haven't heard him do any media. I'd like to get that all cleared up. We'd be good to get a Paulo Costa interview here soon. I should reach out. And then who wins? Yeah, let me know all that. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.